Hi everybody, I'm Jude, and this is episode 2 of Headfi TV. If you read the discussion thread about episode 1 of Headfi TV, you probably saw me mention that we were going to do an unboxing video of both the Practical Devices XM6 and the Cipher Labs Algorithm Solo. Well, we did them. We filmed them, and they turned out okay, except for the fact that we completely messed up the audio somehow. Long story. After we shot it. And so I decided then to try overdubbing my voice over the unboxing footage, and it didn't work out, to say the least. It was a disaster. It turned out, the video with my overdubbed voice turned out to be like a combination of a bad English dub of a Godzilla movie and the now famous Honey Badger video. Only it wasn't funny, it was just an unmitigated disaster. So we discarded the footage, and I decided instead of trying to rebox everything and then try to recreate an unboxing, I decided instead to just cover the products, to go over them, the Practical Devices XM6 and the Cipher Labs Algorithm Solo, just to give some quick impressions of them and go over their features instead of doing an unboxing. We will be doing unboxing videos going forward. We just have to not screw them up when we do them. So hopefully we'll be able to get, no, let me rephrase that. We will do unboxing videos. We will get them right, but it might take some practice because we are very new to this, so please be patient with us. So again, what we're going to do instead, what I'm going to do instead is talk about the Practical Devices XM6 in this episode, and then in a future episode, talk about the Cipher Labs Algorithm Solo. So let's get to it. This is the Practical Devices XM6, and as Practical Devices describes it, it is indeed a feature-packed portable headphone amplifier and USB DAC. You can see from the front panel that there are a lot more in the way of buttons and controls than you're used to seeing on most portable headphone amplifiers. Let's quickly go over the features because there are a lot of them. Crossfeed, which is actually variable. You can change it. There's a dial on the back of the amp where you can actually change the crossfeed. So that's very handy to have, especially if you listen to a lot of recordings that have exaggerated left-right separation. This is bass boost, which boosts the bass plus 6 dB at 100 Hertz. So I'm going to pop a graph up on the screen right now so you can actually see how it alters the frequency response. You can also see in the graphs how the treble boost affects the frequency response. It boosts treble at plus 3 dB at 10 kilohertz. This is gain boost. It gives an 8 dB or an 8 decibel gain boost. And this is an output impedance switch. It's actually pretty handy to have because it lets you vary the output impedance from 0 ohms when it's out and to 75 ohm output impedance when it's in. So if, for example, one example of where that could come in handy is if you have an Etymotic ER4P, you can approximate or pretty much make it sound like an ER4S by putting the 75 ohm switch in. Now, again, as for full features, this thing has a slew of features that I assure you your amp probably does not have. Let's start with just turning it on. So here's the power switch, and you'll see the lights are blinking, and I'm going to explain that in just a minute. So what it's actually, well, let me explain it now. What it's doing is this amber light is blinking out the voltage of the battery to tell you what kind of charge you have left. And it'll do it again if the amp is on and you press the power button once. And so it blinked 8 times, that's 8 volts, and it blinked 3 times, so it's 8.3 volts, which is almost a full charge for this amplifier. I thought that was handy, so I like having that. So there's one nice feature, and there are more. So right now you can see it has a very bright blue LED. For some people, it might be too bright. You can dim it by pressing the button 5 times. And you'll see the LED go dim. Oh, actually, it was on dim. Now it's brighter. That's okay. So you can see what it's doing. So I'm going to hit it again 5 times, and it's going to dim it. All right. Now, here's an interesting feature. Of course, I can imagine you've never seen it either on a portable amp before. It's a flashlight, which I think is actually kind of neat. For some, you might find it unnecessary, but you don't have to use it if you don't want to. So if the amp is on and you click the button twice, the power button twice, it puts the blue LED at full and turns on the amber LED and gives you a small you know, it's not the brightest LED flashlight that I'm sure you've seen, but it's nice to be able to have something in the way of a flashlight if you don't have anything else with you but your XM6. So I thought that was neat. And so again, just press it twice and it'll turn it off. Now, one other thing about this power switch that I think is really cool, and one thing I like about the XM6 is how how this switch turns it on. So let's turn it off. So, oh, you turn it off by holding it down, and when the amp is on. So now when I turn it on, if I hit it once, the amp will stay on for an hour. It's almost like a sleep timer. If I hit it 3 times, which I don't need to do now, but if you hit the power button 3 times when the amp is off to turn it on, then you get 3 hours of operational time with it. If you hit it 6 times, you get 6 hours. And if you hit it 7 times, it stays on indefinitely. And I think that's a really neat feature because if you're a veteran headfier who tends to carry a portable headphone amplifier with you everywhere, then chances are you probably had your amplifier switch hit when it was inside your backpack or inside your messenger bag and turn your amp on, and then when you go to use it, the amp is dead. This prevents that because the likelihood that you're going to accidentally press the button 7 times is pretty much non-existent, so it's not going to happen. So I think that's very helpful, and I don't mind if I want it on all the time or indefinitely to hit it 7 times. To be honest with you, I've only hit it in the 1 hour and 3 hour mode so far. So I haven't even tried to use it in the power indefinite mode. So I think it's a very handy feature. Now this is the back panel of the Practical Devices XM6. This is the input switch. With the switch out, it looks for a USB input so that it acts as a USB DAC. When you push it in, it's looking for an analog line level input, and that the jack for that is in the front, on the front panel. This is the variable crossfeed dial I was telling you about. You turn it with a screwdriver. I think I could probably manage it with my finger too. And you can turn it all the way till the crossfeed is strong enough to pretty much make it mono. That's what the M is for. And then S is full stereo. You can turn it back to make it close to full stereo. So I like that variable I like the adjustability of the crossfeed. Now that's an auxiliary input. To be honest with you, it has something to do with product expansion. I know little of what that would be used for yet. I don't imagine that that's something I'll be using anytime soon because I don't know that there are any options available for that yet. I'll have to find out. Now this is a really, really, really cool feature in my opinion. I would never have thought to include this on a portable amplifier, but I'm glad this one has it. This, when it's being used, when the XM6 is being used as a USB DAC, this is a multimedia control joystick or dial. When you're controlling it from the front of the amp, when the amp is facing you, you can hit it this way, and that will change to the next track, and then this way, so that would be left if you were looking at the amp from the front, will go to previous track, and then you can press it in for pause or play. And I think that's a really neat feature, and I actually use it a lot, and I found myself using it a lot. So I like this multimedia controller. It works perfectly fine. It may require some configuration depending on what media player you're using and what computer you're using. On my MacBook, my Apple MacBook, using iTunes, it works perfectly, and it worked right from the get-go with no additional configuration. This, of course, is the power input for the adapter to charge the battery, the internal lithium-ion battery. This has an internal lithium-ion battery that will vary in terms of its charge capacity, in terms of time, how long a charge you'll get, based on which opamp options you elect to use, which I'll get to in just a minute. You can see here on the side is a sticker showing the options that this particular amplifier has, because you can customize how your XM6 is configured when you order it. With this one, I ordered this one with the BUF634 buffers. That's obviously just indicating what color it is. You can get it in other colors. And I also opted for the WM8741 Wolfson. It's a Wolfson WM8741 DAC chip. That's an upgrade. I don't remember exactly at this time the cost of that upgrade, but that was an optional upgrade, and the XM6 just indicates the model. Now, as for how the Practical Devices XM6 sounds, again, I've only been using it for a very short while, So these are very early impressions, but so far I'm actually very impressed by this. Now mind you, it came stock with OPA 2134 op amps installed. That's what it comes with stock. And what I did was I ordered what's called the AD8397 DoubleCat op amp upgrade. It's an option. If you go to practicaldevices.com and you go to their website, you'll be able to see the op amp upgrades that you can order for the Practical Devices XM6. They're just drop-in upgrades, and they're very easy to install. It actually comes with the hex wrenches that you need to take this thing apart, and it's a very easy thing to do. Trust me, if I can do it, anybody can. I'm not much of a DIYer or a handy guy, and I was able to install the AD8397 DoubleCat drop-in upgrade very quickly. The OPA 2134 stock op amps sounded good. They sounded real good with in-ear monitors that I tried the XM6 with, but I found it to be a little bit, almost a little too harsh for me with some of my favorite over-ear headphones, some of the headphones that weren't as efficient as my in-ear monitors. So dropping in the AD8397 DoubleCat upgrade really kicked it up a notch as far as I'm concerned. It was able to drive, actually, one of the headphones I've been using a lot lately is this Sennheiser HD598, and it drives these fantastically. These are relatively easy to drive, but it did a real nice job with that with the AD8397. It's a real nice combination. Also, I was able to drive better than I expected I would be able to, the Sennheiser HD800. And it drove the HD800 actually quite well. Now here's where the extra controls come in handy. What I've found with a lot of portable headphone amplifiers in trying to power the Sennheiser HD800, and these are really the two headphones I've been using most with it. Again, it's very early, and hopefully we'll have more impressions in the thread going forward of other headphone combinations with the XM6. So, anyways, getting back to the HD800, what I've found with portable headphone amplifiers in the HD800 is that they can tend to sound lean. One thing that's nice about this is it has a bass boost, and I actually found myself with the HD800s in this amplifier using the bass boost circuit. I actually really like it with the bass boost circuit and the HD800s. So this is actually one of my favorite headphone amplifiers so far as far as driving the HD800s go. Does it match up in terms of performance with my best desktop amplifiers and the HD800s? No. But it does do a very nice job for a portable solution for the HD800s, and I've used it with them quite a bit. And also, the output impedance switch, you can switch in and out and try with different headphones. With the HD800s, it kind of softens it a little bit too much for my tastes, but you might find that playing with it's fun, and you might actually find a sonic preference in changing the output impedance. With the HD800s, I like it at 0 ohms and with the bass boost on. So far I'm impressed with the Practical Devices XM6. I want to try it more with in-ear monitors than I've used it so far with them, and then I'll report back hopefully in the thread about the XM6. About this episode, and tell you what kind of results I had. But so far so good, especially with the over-ear headphones I've been using it with. I've also used it with the Grado HF2 headphones, and the results were great. So it's so far I'm very impressed by the Practical Devices XM6, and again, very early impressions. So we'll be saying more about it going forward.